Welcome back to Hungry Theologian, helping you taste and see that the Lord is good. It's lemonade stand season, and that got me thinking, what if we made a strawberry lemonade pavlova? If you're not familiar with pavlova, it's a light and refreshing dessert made with meringue, whipped cream, and fresh fruit. And my take on it will delight both kids and adults and earn you some serious kudos when you bring this out at your next summer gathering. But fair warning, I guarantee there won't be any leftovers. Now let's get cooking. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper. I'm going to draw a circle on the bottom side of my parchment paper to help me form the pavlova later. To form a good meringue, your bowl and whisk need to be totally grease-free. You can ensure that by wiping them down with some lemon juice on a paper towel. Add 4 room temperature egg whites to your bowl and begin mixing on low speed. Save the yolks for later. You can use a handheld electric mixer or a stand mixer. Once the egg whites get pretty foamy, turn the mixer up to medium speed and beat until soft peaks. Once you reach soft peaks, begin to gradually add 1 cup of caster sugar, about a tablespoon at a time. This is a very fine sugar, sometimes sold in the US as baker's sugar. Regular granulated sugar is too coarse for a good smooth meringue. Continue beating until stiff peaks begin to form. Add half a tablespoon cornstarch, 1 teaspoon white vinegar, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, and beat on medium speed to combine. Then add a few drops of red or pink food coloring so we can have a pretty pink meringue for our strawberry lemonade pavlova. Continue beating until you get glossy, stiff peaks that can stand up straight. To form the pavlova, I'm going to first use a large spoon to make dollops all around the circle on my parchment paper. Then I'll fill the middle, which will be a bit of a well to hold the filling. Add whatever decorative flourishes you'd like. I'm going to make some swirls on top of each dollop. Bake in a 275° Fahrenheit oven for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Then turn the oven off, but don't open the door. We want to let the meringue cool very slowly. I like to bake it at night so I can turn the oven off and leave it overnight to cool completely. Alternatively, you could start in the morning so it's ready later in the day, and you avoid the temptation to eat pavlova for breakfast, which is actually a great thing that I highly recommend if you're okay with sugar for breakfast. Next, I'll make a lemon curd. My recipe here will probably give you more than you need for just this pavlova, but you can always cut it in half if you want. Cut up 1 stick of unsalted butter into pieces and keep it chilled in the fridge. Add an inch of water to a medium saucepan and bring to a simmer. Then, in a metal bowl that will fit on top of the saucepan, whisk together 5 egg yolks and 1 cup of sugar until smooth. Add the zest and juice of 4 lemons and whisk until combined. When the water is simmering, reduce heat to low and place the bowl on top of the pot so it's heating but not touching the water. Stir with a silicone spatula until it's light yellow and coats the back of a spoon. I use a silicone spatula instead of a whisk to avoid beating a bunch of air into the lemon curd. This will probably take about 5 to 10 minutes. Remove from the heat and stir in your chilled butter 1 piece at a time, allowing each piece to melt and incorporate before adding the next one. Transfer to a small bowl. You can strain out the lemon zest if you want, but I like the texture it adds. Cover with plastic wrap on the surface to avoid a skin and place in the fridge. Next up is a strawberry sauce. Cut a pound of strawberries into quarters and add to a small saucepan with 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, the zest of 1 lemon, and the juice of half a lemon. As you heat this up, the strawberries will begin releasing liquid. Bring to a boil, then reduce to a simmer and cook while stirring until the sauce thickens slightly and the strawberries are soft. Then puree with an immersion blender or pour it into a blender or food processor. Cook for a few more minutes until thickened, then pass it through a fine strainer to get the seeds out and let it cool completely before using. Prep some fresh strawberries for topping by slicing to your desired size. Then make some whipped cream with half a cup of whipping cream straight from the fridge, half a teaspoon vanilla extract, and half a cup powdered sugar. Whip until soft peaks. Then transfer your chilled lemon curd to a larger bowl and gently fold the whipped cream into the lemon curd to make a delicious creamy lemon topping. Time to put it all together. Carefully transfer your meringue from the baking sheet to a large plate or platter for serving. Don't worry if you get some cracks, it happens to the best of us and it will still taste great. Fill the middle with the lemon curd whipped cream. My meringue ended up with more of a slant instead of a well in the middle, but I was able to use a wedge of aluminum foil to hold up one side and keep the lemon curd from running off. If you're not trying to get a nice photo for YouTube, I don't recommend this because it's very likely you'll crack your meringue. If you have the same issue, just slice the meringue and top each serving individually with the lemon curd. Then top with the fresh strawberries and the strawberry sauce, and garnish with a few fresh mint leaves. For me, Pavlova is party food. It doesn't even have to be a big party, but if I'm making something like this, it's definitely for some kind of gathering or celebration. Maybe that's because I first learned about Pavlova when a friend taught me how to make it on my birthday a few years back. Parties communicate something about our values. Who's invited? Who shows up to the party? And what parties are you willing to attend? In Matthew chapter 9, Jesus attends a party that causes some controversy. After Jesus calls Matthew to leave his tax booth and follow him, Jesus then goes for dinner at Matthew's house. And we're told that this dinner includes many tax collectors and sinners. Jesus is hanging out with the undesirables. And the Pharisees begin to question this. They ask his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" I've said it before on this channel, table fellowship is a powerful thing. When we gather around the table, so much more is happening than mere nourishment. That's why sharing a meal together is a quite different thing from two people sitting side by side in hospital beds receiving nourishment intravenously. In both scenarios, people are being nourished, but so much more is happening around the table. At the table, we let down our guard, we laugh together, we cry together. And ultimately, the table is a representation of relationship and belonging. So as Jesus eats with tax collectors and sinners, he communicates belonging to those who are outside the religious community. Eating together is the way that Jesus extends himself in relationship. Attending this dinner party doesn't mean that Jesus approves of every action of those who are also in attendance. He says that he's come for the sick. He's come to call sinners. Jesus still calls everyone to repentance. But he also notes that God desires mercy, not sacrifice. A quote from Hosea chapter 6, which is all about God's people being restored to right relationship with him. I've talked a bit about sacrifice before, and specifically the peace offering. And sacrifice is undoubtedly important. But Jesus communicates that the telos of the law is mercy. The Pharisees don't get it. They're worried about Jesus maintaining his purity. But Jesus understands the power of table fellowship. So he makes it a significant part of his mission of restoring people to relationship with God. We can learn from Jesus' example here that the Christian life should be marked by mercy and hospitality. As we resume various sorts of gatherings after a time of pandemic, take some time to think about how you might re-engage in the practices of mercy and hospitality. And if you're getting value from this video, please hit the like button and share it with others who you think would benefit from it.